The commute was even horrible. I didn't even like my co-workers. It wasn't even something I wanted to be doing. And guys, between 1 month, they fired me. They fired me. Like, they gave me firing letter. And they did it in such a crappy way. Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Babatunde-Ikotun. I'm a faith and lifestyle blogger, vlogger, YouTuber and podcaster based here in Toronto, Canada. Thank you so much for clicking on this link. I really hope you'll be blessed. If this is your first time of coming here, you're very much welcome. And if you're a returning watcher, is that what I call? I don't know what to call, watcher maybe. Thank you so much for clicking the links, which means your business, your work, your ministry will not burn down. So you're very much welcome. Thank you so much for all your support. So by this gist of today, by the title here, you know it's gist time. This story, get ready, grab some juice, grab some coke, grab something just to keep you entertained, because this is such an interesting story that highlights the glory of God over my life. And let me just start. So I went to school in the state. I went to the University of Denver and I got my degree from the Joseph Corbell School of International Studies. I got my degree in international studies. You can look it up. It's one of the top 10 best schools of international studies in the world. We have people like Madeleine Albright and Condoleezza Rice that graduated from my school. It's a really good school. So when we're in school in those days, like pump you up, oh, you're a Corbell graduate, you're top class, your levels, your head is like swelling, you're like, when I graduate, even like I'll never even apply too much, they'll be looking for me. So that was kind of like a mentality they kind of pumped us up with, like in the career services. Even our professors just made us feel like we're high in demand. So after I graduated school, I finished my program in November, but I didn't do my graduation ceremony until the next July. So I finished my program in November. I was like, oh, it's about Christmas. And as of the time I was finishing my program in November, I'd already started applying to jobs. And I knew I wanted to be a fundraiser, because that's what I currently do. And I do fundraising, and communications for charity organizations. So I knew I wanted to be a fundraiser. So I started applying to like positions like fund development, communications, and it was good. They were calling me, doing interviews. I was feeling fly, like they're looking for me. Hey, I'm a hot cake. By the time I'm ready, they'll give me like 5 offers and I'll be the one to even choose one. That's what I was thinking. So as of November, I had 2 really good interviews and I even made it up to the last stage, but unfortunately they didn't pick me. But I wasn't thinking too much about it, because my plan was to do just rest for November, December, because I did my OPT to start in January. Yeah, I did my OPT to start in either January or March. I don't remember when I made my OPT start. So I just gave myself like a period of time to look for a job. So by November, I wasn't really serious about it, even though I was having phone interviews and Skype interviews and all. So I went to Chicago for Christmas. I went to Chicago for like Christmas holiday, which was nice and cool. I didn't really think about job. Like, oh, when I go back to Denver, because I was living in Colorado, when I go back to Denver, I'll continue my applications. So after Christmas ended, my eye really cleared, because now I'm no longer in school, so it's not fresh to be calling my dad and say, Daddy, send me money for rent, send me money for feeding. So my eyes cleared. I was like, babes, this is January, you don't have a job, your OPT has started, it's reading, and OPT is a year, so from January to January. So I was like, I really need a job. So I started applying for jobs from like January to March. Guys, I was applying to really good jobs, and these were jobs that were flying me out of Denver to San Francisco to LA, like to different places to interview. And like I was killing the interviews. Like I was doing so well. Like almost all the applications I did, not almost all, but like almost all the applications, I got the first call, I got the second call, I even made it to the last stage. But each time I made it to the last stage, it was always a series of, no, at this point in time we're going with another candidate, at this point in time you don't fit our requirements, at this point. And it was just so frustrating, because like I know I'm qualified, I know I speak well, I know I interview well, I know these things. Why are they not picking me? Like after, especially when they'll spend money, they'll fly me out, put me in nice hotels, give me money for feeding, or like they were investing. So which means that I had the qualifications, but I wasn't just getting the job. I don't know why, I don't know what I was doing wrong, but it was such a hard time in my life. And you know, in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, which was the church I was going to then, and I'm also going to Redeem now, we do this 40-day fasting in the beginning of the year. So it was good. I was like, okay, fine, 40-day fasting from January to like March. or April, we're going to fast and pray, and there's something God's going to do. So during that period, I will fast, pray every day, pray, cancel all my enemies, pray, every spirit. I would just be praying about. As I was praying, nothing was happening. I was applying. By March, I now applied to one job. This job was beneath me. It was also in my field, where it was someone that didn't even have a master's degree was going to do. But I just applied, and I think God gave me that, and I got the job. And I think God gave me that job because I had been twisting his arm. I've been like, God, just give me any job, I'll take it. So he gave me that job, and the commute was even horrible. I didn't even like my co-workers. It wasn't even something I wanted to be doing. And guys, between 1 month, they fired me. Like, they gave me firing letter, and they did it in such a crappy way. I came to the office, everything was normal. I just knew my boss, just after I did the work for that day, she just called me to her office and was like, oh, they're going to let me go, like some of the things I've been doing is not what they've wanted. And I was just like, this is a job I could do in my sleep. So it's not even about my skills. Like, I just started crying. I didn't even know when I started crying in my boss's office. I was just like weeping, because I was like, what? I was fired. And this was the season that I was like even downsizing. I'd moved from like my above ground apartment where I was paying like maybe $900 a month to a basement apartment where I was paying $500. Just trying to cut my costs, because I knew I didn't have a job. I was living alone, and I used to live with a friend before. So like this was even a period of like me being isolated. I was crying. I just started driving home from work. I sent my sisters a message on the group chat, like, I just got fired. It was like, what happened? My dad called him. I cried for like 3 days straight. I didn't leave my apartment. Even the landlord was like, this babe, we've not seen her for 3 days. They even came to check up on me. Maybe I've died or something. I didn't leave my apartment for 3 days. Thank God I even had a dog then, so my dog was just always like cuddling next to me, just watching me weep and weep. I was just always crying because I couldn't believe I lost the job. So I was like, okay, no problem, we move, right? We move. So, and mind you, at this point in time, I wasn't where I was now spiritually. I wasn't extra. I was like a solid Christian, but I wouldn't call myself like a strong Christian, because I still had some bad behaviors. Anyways, that's not the gist for today. So I was crying. I was just so sad and dejected. I think I even had a boyfriend then. I think my ex and everything. She tried to like console me and everything. We're in a long distance relationship. That's another gist for another time, which is not my husband, by the way. So I was like, okay, so what do I do? So I kept on applying. So I reached out to. So I remember that earlier in the year, I had this hiring agency that I was working with as a student. So like I used to do stuff like events, like you go and serve them cocktails, like you go for like 8-hour long events and you don't be carrying tray, serving them cocktails, carrying their plate away. America, I cannot even tell I don't even know. Daddy, sorry, you see this. Sorry, these are the things I was up to that I could not tell you back home, because if I told you, I should be coming back home, that why am I serving people drinks? So sorry, Daddy, that I did tell you, just in case my dad is watching this. I'll go for long. So I reached out to the guy. I just told him that I lost my job, hiring agency for like all these temp small jobs, like one event you serve them drinks, carry plates. So then I said, the good thing is that there's this project that is coming up, that they're trying to do a research in the Denver area about the public transportation, that it would put me in application. So I did the application, I did the interview, they chose me. Guys, this job, so the first phase of the job, it started in April. So the job started in April. So by April, I started. What was the requirement for that job is there were different shifts. So there was morning, afternoon, and night shift. And what we had to do was we had those big boxes of surveys that we have to carry to the train station, and we have to keep giving people the surveys paper, like, fill this survey, and like you collect and I had to wake up as early as 5 those days. I think I still had my car then. I'm not sure if I had my car, but I had to wake up as early as 5 so I can get to the place as 5 at the bus station at 5:30, so I can be giving people, do survey. They wouldn't give you a lie. It was cold and freezing. Daddy, sorry that you're hearing this as well. I've been up to some things just to make a living. I know, if I told you, I said I should come home. I'm sorry, Daddy, I'm sorry. So I have to be sharing the survey. So that went on for like a month. It was good. It was money. I was earning maybe like $11 an hour. I wasn't mad at it. They were like good shit. Maybe I wasn't sure if I was doing up to 40 hours a week. Maybe like 35. But imagine 35 hours of being outside. In fact, I even told the hiring guy to put me as a standby in case if nobody wants to show up. So they will call me like, oh, there's one early morning shift. I'll quickly wake up in the morning. I'll go there, share the survey, do all these things I want to do. And like after that 1.5 months of sharing survey, the company that was in charge of the research now called the hiring agency that they really liked me the way I did. Like I was very, very honest. I was like, I wasn't taking it as like a joke. Like I was very serious. Even though they were sharing service, I took it very, very seriously. That they really liked my work ethics and all of that. That they would like for me to move to the next phase of the project. So I said, okay, no problem. So they meet me, Sylvia, and one other babe. I don't remember her name. One Kenyan babe. So it was me, the Nigerian, my other friend Sylvia, which is Brazilian, and one of my other friends, she's Kenyan. I don't know why I don't remember her name. So it was 3 of us were doing data entry. So remember all those surveys that we shared out. Now those surveys were back, and it was our job to enter those surveys inside the computer, which is better because I'm not out in the cold. I'll go to the office. It was even downtown Denver. It was nice. I'll look like a normal working class person on the train. Nobody will know that I'm going to do data entry. So I'll go to the office, enter the data. It was kind of draining work. Then that's when I knew that there was power in like there's something called mental strength. Because I used to like think about only physical strength. I never really knew that there was something called mental strength. By the time I get home, by the time my shift is over, like 4:30, I'll be so drained, guys. I'll just eat and sleep. Like I wouldn't even be able to do anything. Just maybe watch TV. I'll never be able to function. Even my friends were not seeing me. I'll just eat and sleep. Ah, baby, hope you are fine. Yes, I'm okay. Because remember, I already moved out of. I was living with my friends in Aurora, which is like suburban Denver, and I moved out of there. I moved to Littleton, which is kind of like suburb, close to Denver, but like my friends were not around me, so I didn't wish to see my friends. It was just such a very, very hazy phase for me. So anyway, during that period of doing this data entry job, I was still applying. So I now applied for this job. Number one, this job was out of my league. What they were asking for was not who I was. But anyways, I applied. I did interview prep with my friend Aziza, which is my roommate now. I did my interview prep with her. We go way back since when I was in America. So I did my interview prep with her. She's like, oh, don't worry, just do it. I was even like, I don't want to apply for this job. It's out of my league. She was like, just do it for interview prep. Now, you never know the one that will click. So this was by July. I had even done my graduation ceremony. I had already done my parents were around. No, this was before my graduation. So I did the interview. I went in, I was even late to my data entry job. I went in, I did the interview. I wasn't even thinking too much about it. I was just like, okay, let me just do it. I've been, everything like it's by God's grace and everything. So I did the interview, and like I asked them many questions. It was nice, and I didn't think too much about it. In my mind, I said this is just for test. That it won't happen. This job, I won't get it. So I walked away. I went back to my data entry job. So 2 weeks later, which is like 3 weeks later, after my graduation, I think the exact day my parents had gone back to Nigeria, because my parents came and stayed for 2 weeks for my graduation. I was on the train. I remember vividly. It was like 10 in the morning. I was on the train going downtown, and the executive director called me, and I picked, and she's like, oh, I'm calling to give you an offer. I said, you should stop. Don't be playing with me. I said, are you serious? I remember I said, are you serious? She was like, yes, I'm serious. I was like, what? Are you serious? She said, yes, I'm serious. It's like, wow, this is amazing. She told me the offer, how much I was going to be earning. I was like, what? Okay, no problem. I was so happy. My heart was so full with joy. I could not believe it. I called my parents, I called Aziza, I called everybody. Like, oh my God, guys, I got a job that I wasn't even expecting and everything. So that's the end of the story. I got the job. It turned out to be an amazing job. My boss was amazing. She's still one of my references still now. My co-workers were nice. It was in lower districts. We call it Lower downtown in Denver, and it was just a wonderful job. And like after this season, there was one major lesson I took out of this, and it was that it has to be less of me and more of God. That's what God revealed to me at the end of the season. So this old gist, what's the essence of this old gist I've given to you, is that there was a very important lesson for me to learn in that process. And it was the ability of coming to the end of myself and letting God shine through me. And it's so important because I realized in all of the interviews that I was doing that were really high level, it was a lot of promoting myself, a lot of, oh, I got this, I have a degree, I'm smart and ambitious, I have the skill, I am 100% of what they're looking for. Like, it was all about me, 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 me. And at the end of it all, I had to come into that revelation of, it's not about me. It's not about my skills. I am not sufficient of myself. Everything that I am is by the grace of God. And if I'm not going on the wings of grace, I am being proud. I'm carrying myself like I can create myself, like I made myself smart, like I'm the one that gave myself the grace to be standing here, whereas I wasn't the one. So I really learned in that season that God's sufficiency is better than self-sufficiency, and Godfidence is better than confidence, because it took me a very long process to come into that realization. And that has really changed my attitude towards life. So whatever I'm doing now, and I also like to encourage you that whatever you do, focus more on who you are in Christ and what you can do in Christ and how Christ can be made known through you, rather than focusing on yourself. Oh, I'm the smartest, I'm the most ambitious, I have the degree, I have this, I have that. Like, yeah, we get it, but what about Christ? So that I really learned that in that season, and like going forward in like this current season I'm in now and future seasons that I'm going to be in as well, I've come into that understanding that it's not about me. So I'm not going to be putting myself forward. I'm going to allowing Christ to walk through me and show himself through me. There's this Bible verse I would like to share with everybody. So it's from 2 Corinthians 3 verse 5, and it says, Now that we are competent in ourselves to claim anything for ourselves, but our competence comes from God. And I think another version says are sufficient. Yeah, New King James Version says, not that we're sufficient of ourselves to think of anything as being from ourselves, but our sufficiency is from God. So that really brought it into perspective for me that, you know what, listen, baby, your sufficiency is from God, which is why you go for job interviews that you're not even qualified for and get it. And when you put yourself forward and you go for job interviews that you're 100% qualified for, you might not get it. So I really learned that in that season, and I'm just so thankful to God for that opportunity, for my eyes to be open to see these things. And that's just been my motto going back. I just want to encourage everyone that whatever season you're in, whatever thing that you're looking for, be it you're looking for a wife or a husband, stop saying, oh, I'm 6'4", I earn 7 figures, I'm this, I'm that, yeah, any lady will be happy to have me. Or stop saying, oh, I'm wifey material, have you seen my curves, I earn 6 figures. And no, it's not about who you are, but let Christ be your sufficiency. If you're going to jobs, whatever thing you're trying to do, let it be Christ. Put Christ first. Let Christ be made known to everybody at all times. So yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed watching this video, and I hope you've learned something about this, my interesting story time. God bless you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe. I wish you all the very best. God bless you. Bye. Have a good week.